This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
100 minutes of drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is.
I didn't
So
see that
to you,
when I read
we
it.
say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to see Drink Test and Steve at Throw Hill to find out who we're toasting. Yes, indeed. And you know what, man? Today's toast short and sweet. Today we toast the Seattle Sounders. Goddamn right we do. Yesterday, the Sounders did what no MLS team has ever done. They won the CONCACAF Champions League final after they defeated the Pumas UNAM 3-0. So what does that mean, in case you don't know? Essentially, it boils down to this. With last night's victory, the Seattle Sounders, they basically are the best team on the North American continent. It is that simple. Purely, it is that simple. You can take all the teams, so Canada, Mexico, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean nation, do your best. This year, the Seattle Sounders, they own all your asses. They beat them, man. It's a great game to watch.
That is awesome.
It's crazy cool. It really is. So with this, they have not established what the date is or the location, but it's what, the FIFA
Club World Cup.
Club World Cup. So when the invites go out, and to be invited, you have to do what they did. You got to represent your continent, essentially. So they'll be one of the very few teams. I believe it's, 6 teams. They'll be one of the 6 teams that plays.
Damn. I think this, I got to
because I think they split Asia in two, and Antarctica obviously is not fielding a team, right? So
they're not.
Yeah, thank you, Ted, for confirming. Antarctica is not fielding a club soccer.
They play
team.
with snowballs.
Yeah. All right.
Their league's just kind of weak.
It really, the Penguins can only do so much. Great goalkeeper.
I was going to say. Like a brick wall back there.
So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bitola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Steve at Throw Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola!
Hola! All right, Chris, you understand how this here game is played?
Sure do.
All right, you have your choice of one of 3 stories. The wonderful world of drugs. You're going drugs.
So easy.
I got the kids in the car, so,
Let's do it.
Safe bet.
All right, they're going to love this story. Yay! A drug addict watched as his penis rotted and turned black after he injected with drugs. The 35-year-old showed up at the hospital 3 days after injecting his penis with what they're saying is a Class A drug, complaining of, quote, excruciating pain. Well, doctors found that the skin on the unidentified man's penis had died, releasing a, quote, foul-smelling discharge and turning completely black. Now, skin around the man's scrotum was also beginning to rot and peel away from the base of the penis, with the patient admitting that he had injected his penis with drugs right into the dorsal vein. The dorsal vein runs along the top of the shaft, all right? So reports indicate the man began to improve after 5-day antibiotic drip was given to him. That was attached to him. Doctors prescribed a further 10-day course of pills after he was discharged from the hospitals. Doctors say he slowly improved, but the 35-year-old, he refused to go to rehab, with it remaining unclear whether or not the man has made a full recovery. When admitted to the hospital, the patient said he'd injected drugs into his penis twice over the previous 2 weeks without any issues. In other words, he'll probably be at the hospital again soon enough. But the question is, what drug did he inject into his hairless Wookiee? Was it cocaine, heroin, meth, or ketamine? So cocaine, heroin, meth, or ketamine?
So the 8-year-old's going with meth.
All right. All right.
What does the crew there think?
I think
Where'd you say it was?
I think you can do coke in different ways. Granted, people do like injecting it.
I don't know.
I'm going to go ketamine.
I think I'm going to go heroin.
Heroin for Chris.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go old school heroin on this one as well.
All right. Chris and Ted are into heroin. I'm into ketamine. We're going to find out what made this guy's penis black. Was it coke, heroin, meth, or ketamine next?
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Category drugs on profile. This a drug addict. I guess he must have blew out every vein in his body.
That's what I'm guessing when you go there, man.
So he's now injecting drugs in his penis, if he still has one.
If he still has
Doctors
it, right.
were able to save his penis at the time the story was published. Either way, the question is, what drug was he injecting into his penis that turned black? Was it coke, heroin, meth, or ketamine?
By the way, let me address one comment that came in that said, how many times can Thrill say penis around children? Listen, man, I swear to God, that is the way the story's written. And as I was reading it out loud, you're right. That was a lot of penis. But I'm like, what can one do?
But that is the correct thing that a child should say.
Trust me, I got a lot of other names, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did finish it with hairless Wookiee, but yes, penis. But yeah, cocaine, heroin, meth, or ketamine. Let us start with Miles Montgomery. You went ketamine.
Yeah, why not?
In this case. That is not the correct answer. And Chris, you, along with Ted Smith, went with good old-fashioned heroin. No. Now, my man was shooting coke straight to the shaft.
All right.
Yeah, man. Hence, it turned black and is probably going to fall off soon.
I mean, you're in a hurry. I mean, snorting it gets in your system pretty quick.
Well, but different people... When I was living in New Orleans, and cocaine may have been just raining out of the sky, one of the guys I always went in with, this dude named, believe it or not, Drake. Not the Drake you know, but guy went by the name Drake, but he always freebased. Always. I do not know why. Never asked. I think
Interesting.
He was all about. So we'd all sit down, and I'm like blowing lines on his kitchen table, and he's over there melting it down, do his thing, just talking like. And I don't know why he always did, but I'm like, yeah, none of my business.
God's plan.
Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with 10.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today, of course, you got the Jimmy.
Kimmel Fallon.
Or maybe it's Mike. There's a guy named Mike filling in for Kimmel.
Okay.
Seth Meyers. Trevor Noah.
Oh.
Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there. The title. All these guys have teams of talents and writers that help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Twitter just rolled out a new feature called Twitter Circle, which allows users to share tweets with a select group of up to 150 people. That story again, Twitter invented the group chat.
The Ted Smith.
Fallon.
Twitter just rolled out a new feature called Twitter Circle, which lets users share tweets with a select group of up to 150 people. That story again, Twitter invented the group chat.
I heard the CIA has started using Instagram to help Russians share state secrets. Spies used to gather intelligence through covert missions. Now they just talk to each other through latte foam art. Latte foam art.
I'm going to say Fallon.
That's Fallon.
I heard that the CIA has started using Instagram to help Russians share state secrets. Yeah, spies used to gather intelligence through covert missions. Now they just talk to each other through latte foam art.
NASA is planning on sending naked images of humans into space as part of a new mission to communicate with alien civilizations. You guys can't do that. At the very least, you have to hit them with a "you up" first.
Myers.
Yeah, Myers.
That's Seth.
NASA is planning on sending naked images of humans into space as part of a new mission to communicate with alien civilizations. Guys, you can't do that. At the very least, you have to hit them with a "you up" first.
You're trying to find extraterrestrial life. And what we decided to do with send D pics.
See, yeah. I mean, see this.
In the end, and I know they'll say, no, it's for scientific. Right. You're sending D pics.
Mm-hmm. You can send me a picture of a naked alien. I hope I'm not turned on by it.
I hope I am. You'd rather have ugly alien? I would hope I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't know about those tentacles.
Not human. I generally am not attracted to non-human.
Generally. Not okay. Generally.
With global warming and shrinking sea ice, polar bears have been spotted in places they've never been seen before. One was spotted on the south shore of the St. Lawrence River in Canada, and the other one was spotted at the local Arby's.
Alan?
That's me.
Oh, God.
God damn it, I know. We had that one in the can early today, and I couldn't get it out. It's like the idea of him walking into an Arby's.
I heard you have the meats.
Over in Italy, there's a $700 million super yacht that experts believe belongs to Vladimir Putin. And right now, it's trying to set sail before it gets seized. Turns out escaping on a yacht is the last square Putin needs on his super villain bingo.
Alan?
Myers.
Fallon.
Over in Italy, there's a $700 million super yacht that experts think belongs to Vladimir Putin. And right now it's trying to set sail before it's seized. Turns out escaping on a yacht is the last square Putin needs in the supervillain bingo.
So Sunday nights, I watch history, and I always watch the foods that built America. Mm-hmm. So it's funny bringing up Arby's, right? That's how I had some Taco Bell knowledge, because one of them was about Taco Bell and Arby's. And basically, there's two brothers in Ohio that start Arby's. Okay. Then there's one guy whose last name was Bell that starts Taco Bell.
What's the name? What's the story behind the name Arby's? Did they give it? It's just random. Is that their last name? You know what I mean?
Man, I forgot that part of the episode. I'm not positive.
Thanks, Dad. I got one goddamn question. You don't
the
know.
main thing is they're both just trying, because like burger chains are like exploding this time.
Yeah.
So they're both just trying to have a different version of the burger. Right? So Taco Bell, that guy makes he's in California, he's eating tacos. He makes a very American version of a taco, which almost is like a burger. Ground beef, American cheese, lettuce.
All the ingredients,
shell.
right.
So the restaurant was founded by the Rothel brothers, is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Rothel brothers, RB.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, there it is.
So then Arby's, right, they opened their first one.
That's the Rothel brothers.
And people are going in, and they're liking Arby's and stuff.
Are they doing burgers at the time?
No. They're doing roast beef.
Okay.
Their whole thing is they want that's why it has the iconic hat. Like, they want people to come in there, and it's almost like a little bit better than like fast food.
Okay, I got you.
But they just have the beef and cheddar and this and that. And Miles, you're going to love this part. The chain's doing okay. I think they just have the first location or whatever. But then the one brother invents horsey sauce.
Ooh. Game changer.
And because the other brother's like, oh, it's horseradish. He's like, yeah, but it's a sauce. Like, it's not as spicy as just horseradish. It's horsey sauce. Then he ends up inventing the Arby's sauce. And at that point, then people can't stay out of there. Like, they're obsessed with it. Yeah, I know, because people are always like I have friends that like just are obsessed with horsey sauce and Arby's sauce.
Right.
It's like, it's
you mean like Miles?
Yep.
Barnesy is as well. Yeah, I'm just like, damn, like it was that important of a thing.
And when you pull in, you get one, you're like, man, it's been a long time.
I do really like Arby's.
Really
man.
good.
Yeah.
It's soft. I can't explain it.
And as a kid, that's where we went the least, because it's always McDonald's, Burger King, right? The standard stuff like most kids, but every once in a while, my father is like, no, we're getting Arby's. And I was never excited, but every time we went, I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
Well, and the Jamocha shake.
The Jamoke.
Like that same thing. He was like, oh, I got some coffee in it. And they're like, oh, this is delicious.
All right, Arby's. Man, they should get more credit for what they did then.
They should. And look, and listen, the Arby's curly fry is probably arguably the best curly fry in the game.
Hell,
but I'm with you.
All that stuff's good.
If we went to Arby's, right, because obviously in my era, like fast food was massive, but there was just McDonald's, Burger King.
Right.
Those were always closer, or like
Wendy's.
Hardee's.
Then you had things like Checkers and all these other things.
Right. But I remember we either went up to Laurel or you went somewhere else and there was an Arby's. But that was like a massive deal. Like, screw it. We're driving all the way up to Laurel to go to Arby's.
It's worth it, man.
Yeah, exactly. Which is also funny how time changes. Like, I think about when I was a kid, how growing up in the D.C. metro area, right inside the Beltway, Baltimore seemed like a crazy far away place.
It's 37 miles, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, but we would go up there once in a while, see a game or this or that, but that just wasn't what we did all the time.
Right.
And now, like, half the people I know that work at D.C. live in Baltimore.
Yeah. Cheaper. A lot cheaper.
It is.
And you can tell.
Well, it's like Frederick used to seem far. I'm sure it's the same way in the Pacific Northwest, right? It used to be, what was the joke? You leave Seattle, turn the lights off?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Mike, I'm sure you've even seen, like, growing up from when you were a kid in Enumclaw, like, it seems so far away. And now it's like, yeah, people live in Enumclaw. It's a commute. Like, it's not bad.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We all know Dr. Phil.
Hey. Sure do.
Yes, that's right.
Dr. Phil has been sending Oprah Winfrey a thank you letter every year for the last 26 years.
He should be rubbing her feet. You think she's like, how do you keep getting my address?
Mm-hmm. How do you know what property I'm staying at?
I mean, also, too, like, for Oprah, like, she found him and kind of started him on her show.
Oh, yeah.
Then he got the Dr. Phil show. But I want to say it's her production company.
It is. It's Harpo.
Right, so she's still getting a little money off that.
But he made a ton of money based on the fact that she was behind him. That
Right,
she
but
is
to his credit, all right, and he's not a guy I enjoy or like or tolerate, but he had his moment. He knew what to do to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah, he did.
Right, and here's the other thing, too, right?
Damn right I did.
He was on the Kelly Clarkson show, and he was talking about it. He said, the first time I launched a book on her show, I sent her a huge flower arrangement and a thank you note. I think she said she had been on the air for 17 years at that point. She calls him up and says, you know, out of all the things I've done, all the books and stuff, this is the first time anybody ever actually said thank you.
Really?
Well,
you know what I would do? And I would only do this because I know this about her. I want to say we talked about it last week on Big Dummy. She gives us, I don't know, some great hookup. And it's like, all right, hey, man, I'm going to send a thank you. Send her 100 balloons. If you don't know, Oprah actually has a phobia of balloons. And then I would just lie and be like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry I didn't know.
Well, also in people's defense that were on her show and the book deals and stuff, I think a lot of people are like that, right? Like, I have people that have had an impact on my career. I have coaches that had an impact on me. And I always tell other people I'm thankful for them. But, like,
have you ever said
do they know?
Right, like, I'm like, I don't think I ever thought to send a note to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's like the difference, right? I'm sure there's people like, oh, I was on Oprah's show, and thanks to her, it blew up, this and that.
But I feel like it's a little different, because it's one thing, everyone influences you, right? And there's people I go back to, and I think, man, oh man, that teacher was right, or this friend's parent. But it wasn't like a moment. Like with Oprah, it's like, no, in this moment, you do recognize, like, she launched your career.
Correct.
That's why I feel like it's a little easier to remember, like, oh, well, yeah, all these people influenced me, but Oprah's the thing that brought me to everyone's attention.
Yeah. Dr. Phil, obviously, he's known Oprah since the 90s. He would show up on her show a lot. He said she changed his light after helping launch his show. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. So
yeah, we know him now.
Exactly. That's how we know she changed your career. We know who you are.
Yeah. Right. Good on him, but that doesn't shock me. All right. It's kind of a strange one. So, Jason Bateman, right? Mm-hmm. He arguably one of the hottest actors out there. Yeah. People love him. He's in Ozark. So he was doing an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and he was saying that his kids have never watched any of his shows. So he has a 15-year-old daughter. So now they're watching Ozark together.
Okay.
Which also makes sense because, you hear it all the time and stuff, especially with actors' kids. I think athletes are a little different because, like, sometimes the kids want to do that sport.
Sure.
But a lot of actors' kids, like, don't care, don't want to watch them and that stuff. And that's different. Like, I feel like watching somebody do an athletic sport is like, wow, that's impressive.
But that's who they are. Oh, you can take your kid to a movie and, I don't know, I'm playing a villain in a Disney flick and my kid is 6. It's just the way they interpret that is a lot different.
And it's weird to see, like,
Teen Wolf 2, he didn't hoop very well.
You know, it's funny. I've never seen Teen Wolf 2.
Okay. Don't.
Yeah.
That's probably why he did not start his kids out with that. Here's a terrible sequel I was in.
Right. That makes, I was like, no, man, that's,
Michael J.
Fox. So anyhow, he said, she's never seen anything I've done because kids don't usually the kids usually will give it up for everybody except you.
Well, sure, because you're just their parent.
Said she hadn't even seen the Disney cartoon Zootopia. I will say this though,
let her see Zootopia for God's sakes.
Ozark's intense. And it's like, obviously, the woman that plays his wife on the show is not his real wife, but that would be weird seeing your parent on TV dealing with his wife cheating on him and then getting into crime and killing people.
You know, and the whole time your dad's like, don't do any of this. Just playing a role.
Your mom's worse. Your real mom in there.
No, we modeled the character after your real mom. But Zootopia, look, I had to see that with the kids. It's a good movie.
I'm getting custody.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Yeah, it's funny with kids' movies. Like, it seems like how much singing's in Zootopia?
There almost none.
All right.
Did I not just say?
That's what I was going to say. That seems
it's
to
a
be the
decent
line.
movie.
Yeah.
That means you're not singing loud. The only movie I can really tolerate all the singing, it's in the goddamn name, which is Sing.
All right.
Right? They do a good, it makes sense why I have to listen to them sing. It's movies where there's no reason for you to sing, but obviously you have some kind of mental deficiency where somebody says, "How was your day?" And then you break into song. And
It's a strange bridge.
Right, like Frozen. Like, why are you singing? You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for this. At least in the movie,
Let me ask you a question.
Like, you're singing because either you're auditioning,
hold on.
you're performing. You're not goddamn crazy like all these other people. Little Mermaid, like, she breaks into song. Like, what is wrong with you, man?
What if it was in real life? So in other words,
that's what I'm saying.
If you come home and you ask your wife, how was your day, sweetie? And she just breaks into
I woke up late, but the day was great.
Correct.
And I had to dust and I found rough. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
But it's only 3 minutes.
No.
And she's done.
No.
And she's done.
No.
And she encapsulates it all, and she's done.
Okay.
3 minutes.
But like
wait.
3 minutes.
So,
which is going to be
instead of
a 16th of the time.
Instead of the 40-minute word salad.
Correct.
Right. Literally
it's a 3-minute song, and it has some good lyrics. And
I would take that.
I would too.
I would take that.
In real life, I would take the real life musical to explain things quicker than I would to actually have to hear why Janice is terrible to work with.
I'm mad at you. You messed up. I can tell that you have had 20 beers.
Right.
So sleep on the couch. When I punch you, say ouch. Be like, all right, man.
All right, yeah.
Break
be bad then.
Break out the eggs tonight because of late night TV. It's Benedict time. James Corden has on Benedict
Cumberbatch.
And Jimmy Fallon has on Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Wong.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. Wait, you telling me I'm not right?
No, Benedict Wong's on the show.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God. We appreciate it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Man drops his car off at a dealership for an oil change and is now charged with murder when a coworker dies. Meanwhile, a Michigan man sells weed from a vending machine from his home and is now going to jail, which is no big surprise. Virgin Flight returns to airport after co-pilot admits he doesn't know how to fly a plane. If the Ted Smith brought home this family's puppy, he might go insane. And a Florida man with guns and cocaine tells cops he is Tyler Durden. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
And cops driving into Florida where police busted a drug runner. They conducted a stop of the vehicle and managed to find not only a handgun and ammunition in the car, but a trafficking amount of narcotics inside as well. They pulled the man out of the car and placed him under arrest, but things took a turn when they asked his name, which he said was Tyler Durden. They actually ran the name before they realized that it was the name of Brad Pitt's character in the movie Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. To be honest with you, it is... When you look at it from this side of things, yeah, it's kind of obvious, but it is still such a plain name that I feel like if I was in their position, I would overlook it that fast,
in
too.
the moment, you might be going like, it sounds familiar.
Right, it rings
We
the
should
bell.
run his stuff. I bet. Oh, God.
And the fact that he's already got like a felony record on him, like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've arrested this guy before. It's like, oh, wait, no, it's a movie.
Jim from Fight Club. I love Jim Fight Club. I feel bad having to arrest him.
Right.
But you'd also have to seen the movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not a Luke Skywalker type name where just people that haven't seen it know it. In other news, a family in Massachusetts tried to do the right thing, but soon realized they were in over their heads. While driving down the road one day, they noticed a young puppy all alone and in clear distress. Thinking they had found their family's newest companion, they took the pup home, but quickly realized that it wasn't just any ordinary canine they had picked up, but a young coyote.
Yeah, Ted. Coyote, they know what they're doing now.
They called authorities, who then took the animal to a rehab facility where it's learning some natural behaviors and will be released back into the wild when it's ready.
That's a bad idea.
They called Pet Solutions.
I like how you say
it's a bad idea.
It's learning natural behavior.
Yeah.
It's a coyote.
Take it back into the wild.
Yeah.
Pick him up real
It'll
quick.
figure it out. Yeah.
Right. It'll figure it out.
We're going to teach you what it's like to be in the wilderness. How about you put him in the wilderness?
Don't worry. The wilderness could use a few less coyotes. We'll be okay.
Stay in the wilderness. Just stay out of our area.
Yeah.
Coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
Culiacans.
Why don't you go live off the land elsewhere?
I will say, in Coyote's defense, the first time I saw that show, something in Coyotes, I was like, where are the animals?
Mm-hmm.
It was about people smuggling humans.
I was telling Miles when we were in Mexico City, there's the Frida Kahlo Museum, which I did not want to go to, but my wife did.
Yay.
It's fine. But it's an area called Culiacan. Culiacan means coyote.
Culiacan.
So everywhere you go, it's just imagery of statues, fountains, paintings. I'm like, Ted would hate it here.
A Virgin Atlantic plane bound from London to New York was forced to turn around just 40 minutes into the flight for a rather annoying reason.
The pilot was a virgin.
Oh, no. The plane made it as far as Ireland before passengers were told that they would be making their way back to London because the first officer on the plane was still technically in training. The first officer had gone through most all of his necessary training in order to legally be able to co-pilot the flight, but he had missed one key part of his training, the final assessment.
All right. But what I like is he waited for them to take off. All right. So they're already flying. Then he's like, oh, hey, Captain, I got something to tell you, man. Technically, and you can overlook this. I'm not actually qualified to fly this motherfucker.
I still feel better getting on a Virgin aircraft in that situation than most others.
Yeah, no doubt.
Due to a rostering error, he was scheduled to co-pilot the flight, and after a grueling 3 hours, furious passengers boarded their plane and made for JFK International. Look, if I'm one of those...
I'd be pissed.
Yes, because here's the thing. It's not like he's a first-day student. This guy just didn't take his final exam yet. He knows literally everything that he needs to. We just don't... We can't actually verify that, yes, indeed, that he does. He's sitting first officer, which means the airline even trusted him enough to put him in that position mistakenly.
You wonder how long he's had that position.
Right. Like, man, let it go. Get me to doggone JFK and then figure your crap out.
I'd be like, today's your test. Let's go, man.
Let's go, dude. Pilot seat. Let's do it. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you up next on the Men's Room Happy Hour exclusively on the Odyssey app for a little Dirty Big Demi.
Yes, indeed. Real quick, someone says the Virgin Air pilot was certified to legally fly by the UK, just not Virgin Air's internal standard. In the meantime, we be all about this bitch. So until then, please do what you do best, and for Letha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.